think sometimes we take it for granted, the courage it takes to step up against a 6'9", 275-pound guy to fight in that situation.
Yeah, not too many people would want to get involved in that, but I thought Andy got his back up when he was hit from behind. Yeah. I don't know what we're watching. Really dangerous hit. I don't think Z tries to play that way. It was just one of those hits that I thought should have been called. Yeah, but Josh, high marks. I mean, and you better get your first shot in, though. And he did, I think. And, yeah, so good for him.
Is that one of those where you we've joked about this before with other guys, where you kind of wince and go, oh boy. And then
I did. Yeah, I said, oh gosh. And but Andy is when Andy's effective, he needs to bring attention to himself. Now that wasn't a play that needs to be in his game. That was a hit from behind. But Andy needs to draw that type of attention to him by his forechecking and just the way he can skate as a big man. And he's done that. Every game, he's getting better and better, and he's rewarding with some ice time. So he's got to continue to do that.
He's went 9 games without a scrap. That's a long time.
Who?
You guys went 9 games.
Really?
Without a fight.
Well, the game's changed. Yeah, sure. It has changed.
What are the camaraderie that can bring?
I see. That's where I think some of the old school type of hockey still. I'm not sure if it'll ever come back, because when you start trying to get into a little bit of the way really the game was played a number of years ago, a new rule comes into the rule book. So, but you need that. You need now it's a block shot. It's a second effort on a back check. The fighting part of it to bring camaraderie has been taken out of our game. And so you need to find other things. It's a great question, because I think that's very important for a hockey team, is to rally around something in such a long year. In certain times during the year, you need to rally. And it's such a gentleman's game right now. That part of it there's not a lot of rallying. Yeah. So.
John, good to have Gabriel Carlson out there with you today.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he's going to be after. We'll talk to the trainers. Yeah, but you know, I've told you, you know what I think about him as such a young man and playing that position. Yeah, so it was great to have him on the ice. We'll see where he is.
And maintenance day for Werenski?
Z, yeah, pretty physical game. 4 and 6 nights. He was a little banged up, but he's okay.
You talked before the game last night about the fourth line. You were still trying to figure it out. Afterwards, you really liked how those 2 young wingers did. Are you going to stick with that plan at least?
I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. Yeah. You know, I sat out a guy that has leading goal scorer on our team. I got to be really careful there. I think, as I said, I think to you guys prior, it's good for a young kid to watch when he's tending to go off the tracks a little bit and try to zero him back in. So I'm still not sure what the lineup's going to be against Florida.
Also, with Carlson coming back, you guys are going to have to make a roster move, because you're at the 23 right now.
Yeah.
How difficult is that going to be for you?
Yeah, it's always difficult as far as that. I'm still not sure whether he's coming off or not. This is his first day skating. I'm not sure what's going to happen. We'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it.
What do you guess Cam's status is?
No idea.
Day to day?
Day to day.
Since Sonny's come off the rails a little bit, can you?
Just his patience. I think the important thing with Sonny is sometimes he may have to go 3, 4, even 5 shifts maybe, that maybe just chipping a puck in or just getting it out in the neutral zone. It does not always have to be tape to tape. It doesn't have to be a saucer. It doesn't even have to be an offensive play. That's the part of the game that a young man with that type of skill has to learn, that you can't bring that into every shift. We know it's available. We know he has it, but you also have to let the game come to you and not force it. And that was beginning to come into, quite honestly, it's respect the league. Respect the league here. There are some really good players with good sticks and good positioning. Sometimes you just can't make a play, threading it through someone or trying to force a play. That's all part of the process with this guy. We're going to continue to try to help him out until it becomes part of his game, the patience of it.
With a guy like that too, it's it's nice that you don't have to beg him to play like that. It's
No.
you're railing a guy
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
which as a coach, isn't that nice?
We can't teach skill, you know. So to have the amount that he has and just to try to refine it and get it to play under a concept, then we have something. Does it happen? We're going to keep trying. I'm not sure if he can get it straightened out, but we're certainly going to spend some time with him to try to get it straightened out as far as playing a game with that type of skill, but playing under a team concept.
Does having 5 goals, scoring a game winner, the adoration that comes with that, does that make it harder?
Sure it does. Sure, he wants to. He sees. He gets a couple of pats in the back, and he sees that, but he can't forget what the game of hockey is about. It's respecting your opponent, respecting the league, and the patience of an offensive guy to play with some patience when you're playing, let's say 16, 17 shifts. Maybe 3 or 4 of those shifts, that's when your offense comes. Right. And 3 or 4 of those shifts, he may make something happen really good. But those other 10 or 11, you have to be smart. And that's the process. And it's going to take some time with Sonny.
John, the rover concept that you shared with us, that you talked to Zach about, and Seth, I think, a little bit. How is that different than an offensive defenseman?
It's, to me, it's staying involved even more in the offense. It's having enough guts to, when we're rotating a puck offensively in this corner, to go sneak down to the other corner so we can make an east-west play to you and spread the offensive zone. Not just sitting out at the blue line, waiting for something to come to you and maybe taking a point shot. Jumping down through the middle, maybe jumping for a hole. Sitting in the corner. Lingering a little bit, even when the puck is up for grabs. Like Z is so good at it. We have a breakout pass, and there's still a little bit of a battle on the wall in the neutral zone. He's sitting there. His job isn't done. He still creeps up and is hoping a loose puck comes so he can keep on going. So it's a hard concept to define. You have to have it within you. And it's just an innate being about you offensively that you're in the right spot. And I want to give them the leeway. And, you know, I Shawzy a couple of games ago, we're up, I forget what game it was, we're up in the 3rd period, and on 2 rushes, both of them were up there leading the rush. I said, I love it. Shawzy's not so sure. Right. I said, I love it. They're going to do it. And, yeah, we're going to get spanked, and it's going to end in the back of the net. Yes, it's going to happen a couple of times. But the rewards at the end of it, to have players like that want to make a difference and have the ability to do that, to create offense in this league, it's so important. It's such a big advantage. And quite honestly, those 2 guys, usually if they lead it, they can get back. They're such good skaters. They can get back, too. So we're going to let them go. We're going to let them go. And I remember talking to Yarmo about this safe as death. I said, don't come to me after a game and say, man, what happened? You got to turn away. You have to live with some of the mistakes if we want to play this type of hockey. I'm not saying play absolutely crazy hockey, but I want us to take some chances. And we have 2 guys there that are certainly able to do that.
So this might be an extreme question just to understand the line. Why aren't they forwards? What makes them still rovers?
I don't know. I wasn't in their youth. They decided to play defense, and
what they do on the ice.
Yeah, but it's really a good question. I don't consider them. They're not forwards, right, but I don't consider them defensemen. Right. They're in between, and that's where the game. I lived it with a guy, Danny Boyle, in Tampa Bay, and he's the one who kind of. I made a deal with him because Danny was almost out of the league. He was in Florida. Mike Keenan was coaching him. He wasn't playing. And he came to us, and I told him after a couple of weeks of spending time with him, I said, if you just show me that you'll commit to playing defense in our end, you do whatever the hell you want offensively. And he took it to a whole different extreme, and it was huge for us in winning that year. So, yeah, it's having a little bit of guts to I'm going to make something happen here, but if something goes wrong, I'll get back. Give me a chance. Let me try this. Give me a chance. So, yeah, we lived it a little bit there, and you don't come across many guys like that in the league that can do that. You look at the Dowdies and players like that. That's what the game is. That's where you have to try to get an advantage when you have players like that.
What kind of luxury is it to have 2?
Yeah, it is, and two playing together. Now that's going to get risky. You know, it has. You know, I've had, not me, I've had people ask, maybe split them up. I just like them together. I think it really backs teams off, and we'll know, and they will know when their other part of the game is really struggling. They may have to bring it back a little bit just to get themselves straightened out. But that's part of the process of trying to be a team trying to win. I don't want a team to be perfect defensively. I don't want us to be. I want us to take some chances. That's where the game is. You asked me this 10 years ago, there's not a chance I'd be talking this way. But that's where the game has gone to, especially without a red line. Yeah, so we'll see where it goes.
You had guys other than Boyle and these guys that you trusted to play like that?
God. Not to this extent. I know, I'm trying to think. Ryan McDonough in New York, I mean, he can skate. I mean, his skates don't touch the ice. We tried to get him, when we got Mac D in that trade in Montreal, when he was in the Montreal farm system, I wasn't sure what type of offense that he could bring. But then once we saw him start skating and see what he can do there, we really tried to push the offense with him. I'm not sure how it is now with Elaine, what their concept is with him. But he's a guy. I'm off the top of my head, I just can't think. I'm sure there were a couple others, but I mean, a Zach Werenski and a Danny Boyle, those are pretty elite players when it comes to this type of rover. Jonesy, you watch Jonesy, and it's so different from Z. Z is in, it doesn't look like he changes a gear. When Jonesy decides to put it into overdrive, you can see it. Z is just always there. You know, he's just such a good skater. Yeah, so, and to me, not just for them, but it gives your team a mindset too, which I think is so important, is the mindset of on your toes all the time and taking some chances.
Do you want your other defensemen to try and emulate? We've talked about this, them joining the rush, being more aggressive, but how much can they try to emulate this with the risk?
Yeah, it's not about, I don't think anybody can emulate Z. I don't think Jonesy can emulate Z. I think there's Z, there's Jonesy, and then the other guys, they are very aggressive. You can see they're very aggressive getting up the ice, but I think they have to pick their spots more, just because of the ability of getting back also. Yeah, so Z is the guy that I zeroed in on out in Minnesota when we were practicing, because I just watched him. I said, you know what, you're no longer being called a defenseman, you're a rover. And he said, I can do that. So yeah, yeah.
Have you told Seth this too? Does
No,
he
I think Z's told Seth. I have not told Jonesy. I think Z has told him. So.
League-wide, John. The other night, you and his eyes were like this big when you mentioned the word rover, like saucers.
Yeah. League-wide, what kind of a commodity is this? How many guys in the league have that kind of ability?
Well, quite honestly, there's quite a premium on just good defensemen, period, that can do that. I mean, you look at the guy in LA who is a really good player. They're not everywhere. Yeah, I can't sit here and name them all. I'd have to look at the teams, but there's not a whole bunch of them. And if you have one, why not? And Z's still such a young man, and Jonesy's so very young. They'll find their way. And Shawzy and I are the ones that have conversations, because I'm a little bit more aggressive. Shawzy's a little bit more conservative at times, and it's probably good we play off of one another. And so I think we'll get the right message across to him.
Erik Karlsson, you think as well?
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. He's scary. Yeah, I just can't think of them on the top of my head, but there are some good ones out there. Not a whole bunch, but there are some really good ones out there.
Your thoughts on Mott after last night? You made a couple of comments towards.
Yeah, he was on the puck. Drew a penalty with his speed. Scores a goal. Used him killing penalties. I moved him up on a line because he deserved to be up there with Doobie and Jens, and he's going to play again. And if he, like I told him on the ice, don't give me a reason to take you out. I can't take you out now the way you play. I said, don't give me a reason. I said, because there's other people wanting your spot. You came in and took someone's spot. There's someone else that guy may want it back, and there's other people waiting to get in. I said, don't give me a reason. Thing I like about him, he skates. played some games in the league. Yeah, I was really encouraged with his play. I thought he sparked us a little bit, and I could move. I think he's utility too. I think I can move him in different spots.